we could not literally be here today without the community. So why not continue to give back to the community?
This is the Healey Brothers Show.
So, first off, welcome to the Healey Pod.
Awesome.
Evan Baright. I got that right.
Yeah.
Right.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.
So, I got my brother Dylan on here, myself, Jay, the host here. We'll get to the docket real in a little bit, but please just elaborate, when did you get out of college, what you're doing now, and then give us a little background on Foam Wash.
Awesome. So I started getting full-time in 2019, 2020. I graduated in 2020, but on my way out, of course, I was graduating in the midst of COVID, mix of everything going on like that. So I came home from college. I started working full-time, kind of didn't know what I was doing. I pretty much washed cars, worked in our Shell station, changed oil. I did everything. I tried to understand the car wash world a little bit more, kind of started to work full-time. This was a long time coming because I've been in and out of the company since 2012. My first day at the car wash was a 2012 Veterans Day. I was a freshman in high school. I was dragged out of my bed in the morning, kind of like
the same thing.
Yeah, that's funny. But I think I mentioned it last time, so it's funny. So my dad's like, "You ready to work?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." So he ripped my friend and I out of my bed at ninth grade of high school. We started washing cars, and kind of since then, it's been a long time coming. And the car wash was something that I've always been interested in. Of course, as a family business, you're around it every day growing up. You hear about it. You see your dad working really hard, and you see your family kind of moving around and doing different things. So you're like, okay, if you want to get involved, you have to be able to do kind of everything. So I saw that at a young age. I started to adapt with it. And when I went to school, I started to learn business, entrepreneurship, and I kind of wanted to make sure I could bring something back to the table. And I brought back something that isn't really there, and I brought it with creativity, more customer service, kind of focused more at creating a good experience for our customers that we've already been doing, but we knew we could be better. It all started in 1966 when my grandfather was working at IBM. He said to himself, well, there's nowhere I can really go without a college degree. So he went out to Valesgate, New York, and purchased a Purple Parlor car wash that's now Foam Wash Car Wash. And
It's right by one of our stores.
Yeah. So ever since then, it's kind of been a wrap. My grandfather was hustling from 1966 all the way up into the mid-'80s with a few car washes under his belt. My dad had big dreams of doing something totally different, and in the 80s, there wasn't much of opportunity. There was no internet. There's nowhere to find maybe what's the next big thing. So he got right back to work with his father, and since then he's been kind of hustling doing that.
So did you know you wanted to work for the family business for a long time, or did you want to do something different before you went to college? Like how'd that go?
Yeah, that's a good question, because when I was growing up, it was like, okay, I got a family business here. I didn't understand it. Growing up, you're so young, you're so naive. You're going through high school. You're just thinking about everything else besides work, and then life hits you hard when you go to college, and you want to do something. You fall in love. You want to prove to yourself that there's more out there. So I saw the opportunity at the car wash as something that I could do to grow. It was something that it's the third generation. I saw that there was improvements that could be made. So after college, like I said, COVID happened. I kind of asked for a sign. I told myself, listen, I had a lot of opportunity in college. I said, I need a sign like right now. And then COVID happened. And then, so when that happened, I was like, okay, I'm going to come home. I'm going to start working. I started working with my family. It was tough. We were closed. I was there the first day we opened. We're not we weren't
essential business.
An essential business
right.
to be open, but we have the self-serve car washes that are separate from our in-bays and our tunnel locations. So we were able to keep that open because there's no employees, right? People can come and wash their car, and that actually helped the self-serve industry a lot during COVID because it was kind of a dying industry. People weren't out. They didn't want to wash the car themselves. They wanted to be super quick and easy, which is our tunnel locations. That's express. You get in and out in a couple seconds, and you move on with your day. So when COVID happened, people were like, okay, we want to get out of our house. What do we do? There wasn't really anything open besides a few things, and one of them was self-serve car wash. So they would show up to our locations, wash the car themselves. And that maybe was maybe the only thing they did that day, because if you remember April 2020, really
there was nothing to do.
You just were kind of hanging out, and I remember that time very vividly. It was the time where I really wanted to get out of the house, and I was like, I can't. And now that we're finally past it, it's really happy to see.
So now that you decided to work in the family business, did you when you got here, did you see what you wanted to change, put your own imprint on it? Did you what really made you drive to make it a better family business? Because we see stuff every day that we want to slightly change or take to the next level.
Yeah.
Like, where are you at in that process?
So a lot of the things we did, and I have some of the stuff on the table right now, is we started working with local non-for-profits. We started a program. We were selling green towels for the longest time. This was something that my father and his brother started back in 2015. It was a cool program. I have one right here too. You basically can buy a towel for, at that time was $3. We would refresh it for you and we give it back. So basically, if you came to the car wash with a dirty green towel, we would just take that towel and give you a new green towel. So it's pretty cool. You come in, wash your car. You don't have to wash your towel at home. You bring it in your trunk. You give it to us. We give you pretty much a wash and dried one. So there wasn't really a model there. It really wasn't the strongest model. We weren't doing too well with it. We were selling it. We were giving them away. We couldn't really keep track of it. There was no strong model there. So we thought, well, there's a lot of businesses that could probably use this money that we're doing from the towels and we're gaining from the towels. So we restructured the program. We changed them from green to blue. This was able to help differentiate. So when we did stop the green towels, people knew what the blue towels were. And we call these the blue charity towels for a reason, because what we do now is we work with local non-for-profits. Last year was our first year we did it. We worked with Unshattered, which built a blue towel out of used our blue towel and built a bag.
Elaborate a little more. What is Unshattered?
So Unshattered is a local non-for-profit right here in Wappingers Falls, New York. They're located in the Castle building on 376. If you're a local guy, you probably know where that is. If you're not,
we're Orange County people.
You can't miss it. If you're driving around 376 near Van Wyck, there's a big Castle building. It was built it was built for a gym, turned into a nightclub. And now we're here with Unshattered, which is really cool. So
it was a nightclub.
Yeah. So if you talk to anyone that's been in the area for a long time, who maybe partied a little bit in the 80s, stories I've heard from my parents that it was a nightclub. When you walk in, it's beautiful. They have so much storage. It's a really nice facility. It's a massive. So they're able to grow, which is nice. They got this really large building that they can easily grow into instead of grow out of, because if you walk into it, you'll see it. What she does is, so Kelly is her name. She built Unshattered. She saw something in the world that she thought she could touch, and she did. So what she does is she takes people from bad relationships or drug abuse and things like that, bad backgrounds, and then she says, you know what, let's do something. She turns them into entrepreneurs. So what she does is she has people sew, build, market, and sell. So she takes and builds bags, and she also will take, say you want to retire this jacket. You could take this jacket, give it to her, and she'll build a bag out of it. So if you have heirlooms or things like that in your family, military jackets, things like that you're just sitting and collecting dust, you can actually bring it to her location and they'll build a bag or anything you want out of it. It's pretty cool. It's a repurposed company.
That's awesome.
So they're really, really cool, and we really like what they're doing. So we saw them. We went to them actually, and we said, hey, listen, we really have this crazy idea that we're going to start doing at the car wash. I think we'd love for you to be the first person to do it with us. So it started like that, and one thing led to another. We changed our green towels to blue. They're a little bit better too. It's better quality. They got our logo on here, which is all over and not on the back. It's good for drying. Because of that, we were able to sell the towel for $4. So we get the towel, we sell the towel, and then basically instead of losing money on it, we break even on it, and then everything else goes right to the charity. So last year we were able to donate $15,000 simply by selling blue towels from January 1st to December 31st. So that was really exciting, and we like to try to do it yearly. So we don't want to continuously keep the same charity. We want new people to get on with us. So that's pretty cool. So
no, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah.
So this was your first year?
So last year, so 2024, time flies, 2025. So January 1st, 2024, we unraveled the blue towel, and we started basically building for the charity at that point. So we went from January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024. And within that whole year, we basically, like I said, took the money, collected the money, and were able to donate all net proceeds to Unshattered. Yeah.
So I mean, we're a big fan of helping local charities.
Yeah.
You could always help the giant cancer charities, and those are always good. I'm not saying they're not, but helping someone local in your community that you live by, you work with, that does business with you is so huge. And that's why we started our Healey Brothers Driven to Give Foundation. And we choose different charities every year that are locally, and we give them money. Like last year we did hospice. We chose 2 hospice, and we were able to give them a bunch of money. And it just feels so much better when you're really helping someone that's in need right locally, rather than obviously helping someone nationally is great, but the local feeling is so much better. So you guys, is it you're only going to work with Unshattered. It's Unshattered.
So
right?
Unshattered, we worked with them last year. So I like to bring it because this bag is beautiful.
I love it.
What they
Yeah,
did with
they do a great
as a
job.
cosmetic, it is
That
beautiful.
reminds me of that.
Yeah.
Like
And
the,
she took this towel that I have in my hand and they turned it into that. So these girls are quite skilled. They sell and they build and they do such a great job. So no, we just did them in 2024. We think it's really important to share it, the idea. So Unshattered was our first one. We're really happy to be doing that with. We were really happy to do that with them. So now we moved on. We're actually working with MHA, Mental Health America. Now they're local Dutchess County and Orange County. They're regional, but they're also just right here in the local area. So it's a veterans program. So we do veterans.
we love our veterans.
We love our veterans. For sure. We do already a veterans wash. It's very famous. We do it every year. If it's a rainy weekend, we make sure we push it out. But every Veterans Day, that was actually my first day at work, was 2012 Veterans Day. I got to wash 1,200 veterans cars for free that day. Every time we get a new wash.
100?
Yeah, we watched 1,200 veterans
And that's just one.
in one day at one location. But this is Veterans Day. This is a really veterans talk about it because I hear about it when I get close to Veterans Day. I market it a little bit, talk about it to make sure all veterans know that there is an opportunity to come to our car wash, get a free wash. There's probably a bunch of other things that you can get on Veterans Day for being a veteran. We're really happy to just wash you with a top package. So we wash them all day long, all Veterans Day. If it's a crappy day, we'll push it out for the weekend.
And I think people forget we have a pretty good military base.
Yeah.
There's a lot of veterans. We also have West Point, which is not too far away. We have
Stewart Airport.
Stewart still has some. But yeah, it's all close. We're like a centralized area, so we're big on veterans too. Because we were founded by a veteran. Our grandfather was a veteran in the Korean War, so
Awesome.
it's dear and near to our heart, and we love how you guys do that. So the goal when you guys are helping this every year, so every year you guys talk within yourselves, and you're going to choose a new local charity to work with, right?
Exactly. So it's our second year. We come to the table like around December time. It's something we find really a lot of pride in doing. So in December time, we went out, we looked for a new charity. We told Unshattered, hey, here's your final check. We had some fun with it. We brought one of those big checks. We always love those. They're fun.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, they're great. They're fun. When I was a little kid, there's a big joke that used to go around that I thought it was real. Right when you're 10 years old, you see a big check, you're like, that's cool. I want that check. So we whipped out the big check and we brought it to Unshattered. We showed them what we were able to do for the year, and that was really exciting. So then we told them, hey, listen, every year we're just going to continue to do this with new charities. We think it's important to give back to different ones and different like Unshattered is totally different than MHA. So we want to make sure we diversify and get different.
And then MHA is the mental health. Which
Mental Health America. So they do a lot.
And it's Mental Health Awareness Month, correct? Yeah, this month, May, right?
I think it is in May.
It's May.
Yeah. So it's so important to talk about that. So what they do is they help veterans, right? They build veterans back up. They help them with all types of needs, anything they need. Mental health, of course, but then it goes deeper than that. They help with any type of necessity for veterans. So it's a great program. We just started with them back in January, of course. So we're just continuously building. We like to continuously sell the towels throughout the year. We market it. We sell them at the locations. And, when you're coming to a car wash, you need a towel. So what's the difference between this $4 towel that you can buy from us, exchange with us? You don't have to watch. I mean, the guys pull out their, they come in the line, they open up their trunk, they grab a dirty towel out, they hand it to us. They don't have to do anything with it. They buy it and we exchange it. And then you can go to our vendor and you can buy a $3 or $2 towel that you just throw in the trash. So we're finding value in something so minimal, but able to give back to the community.
I mean, that's the biggest part. You're giving back and you're making an impact in your community.
Yeah.
And so many people that either have a military family member or friend, and they need help. People forget about them sometimes, and sometimes that extra push from these other organizations are so beneficial for them and makes their life so much more fulfilling, which is the most important thing, the impact you're giving. So that's really, really important. So to turn the tide here a little bit, can you just give us a little more background on Foam Wash, locations, how many employees and stuff like that, just so the area can get a little better idea?
So the background is I could go on forever because it's such a great story, and I love to just talk about my grandfather. And he's still alive. He's still here today. He lives
How old is he?
He's 85. He lives up in Tivoli, but he's a snowbird, just like so he goes down to Cape Coral.
Grandpa Healey is too.
Yeah, so we love that for him, and he's coming right back up soon, and usually comes up in May with his wife. So it's great. So in 1966, he was working at IBM. He just started with a bunch of guys, Hudson Valley Credit Union. If you're familiar with Hudson Valley Credit Union, of course, it started with IBM. It was founded by IBM. my grandfather didn't start it, but of course he was on the team to start it with IBM. So he helped start it in the cafeteria at IBM. He was like number 1 or number 2 on the cards for Hudson Valley Credit Union, which is pretty cool.
We use them for business.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing the legacy that IBM left behind.
Yeah.
You know, you got Casper Hill Golf Course. That was their golf course. You had a schooling system. You had credit unions.
If you lived up here, it was IBM. Like
IBM.
Really, there's no other jobs. It
Right.
was just like IBM.
Literally.
It's crazy.
And then when I went to school in Florida, talking about snowbirds and where they went. So I went to school in Lynn University, which is in Boca Raton.
Right. We're very familiar with it.
So
we talked about that
you
too.
can look it up. And when I went down there, I only had Hudson Valley. So I was like, I don't want to pay ATM fees, right? Because it's kind of a pain in the butt when you do that all the time. They have branches down there that Hudson Valley works with because people back in the time when they were working at IBM so full time, they were retiring. They were going to Boca Raton. They were going to Florida. So Hudson Valley said, hey, let's work with local banks and say, hey, we'll not have the fee, right? You can come in and you can do your transactions as you normally do. They're not Hudson Valley branded, but they work with. It's kind of like
there's partners with that.
So it's pretty cool how it all worked out. So they did all, he did that for a little bit, and then pretty much IBM was like, hey, you don't have a college degree. There's not really much you could do here. We really appreciate your help, but you're kind of stuck, right? And he didn't take that too lightly. He really was like, just because that I don't want to hit a glass wall. I want to continue to grow, right? And so at this time, my father was just being born, so he's got kids and he's trying to figure out what to do. He's got a wife, and he's like, I want to do something here. So he went out, and at the same time working at IBM, he didn't really last too much longer at IBM once he acquired the car wash and real estate. So he went out, he bought some car washes. That all spiraled because he also was getting into real estate at the same time. Back then, it was a really cool. There was something that could be going on again right now with the baby boomers, but was really big back in the 50s and 60s because it's happening again with a lot of old business owners retiring and not having anyone to kind of,
we're going through a big switch over now.
Switch over. So it's really important to notice that because what happens now is that there's nowhere to go for a business. And of course, a business that makes money is really important. If there's nowhere to go with that and the guy gets too old where he needs to retire, he wants a plan. And the plan back then, it could be now, is similar to what my grandfather did, was kind of acquire land. And of course, if you own a building, you have tenants, you have real estate down below, you have commercial space that'll help you over time create equity. And you could also then build, you could pay off that building. Yeah, right. So then what he did was kind of do that. He was working in Red Hook at the time. He got old, what's the word for it? It's an old, not an AutoZone. It was like an old, I'm blanking on it, like an old hardware store. So you got an old hardware store because it's still there, which is crazy, but it's not under the same thing. It was an old hardware store, and he acquired that and just continued to build. One thing led to another. It was a slow 1966 to 1980. It was just steadily growth, right? Back then, you had a lot of quarters. They're heavy, right? They're heavy. So it's nice to kind of go towards more of a chip and tap and things like that. It kind of creates a more mainstream environment and less lugging around. So he was doing that, and really not until my father, his brothers really were like, okay, well, one went to school for electrical, one went to school for business, and another one went to school for electrical. So it's like, how do we get involved here? So my grandfather brought him back after college and kind of set him down and listen, this is something that we could do, we can grow, we could be the best, right? So they did that. So similar story with me, coming back from college, he came back around like 1986. His older brother was already kind of semi-involved. His younger brother was just finishing up college, and they came home and they started building. So they got right to work. They started acquiring some land on Route 9, and at the time they weren't super experienced, right? There's no car wash like experienced people at this time. It's just kind of like, let's just do it. No one really knows what could happen, right? It's a semi-early industry back in the 80s still with the car wash world, and they just build it brick by brick. Literally, they literally built some of the car washes with their hands with crews that are still with us. That's the cool story too, is that there's guys that were there with my dad in the early 90s that are still in our organization today I'm working with. And it's a really cool example to kind of go back to how they built the business by, really friendship and family was super important. And a lot of that has stuck in something that I'm going to continue to also grow also. So
that's an awesome story right there.
That's great.
And it kind of led like that. And then from 1986 to 2020 was a lot of change in the car wash world. I saw a lot of things. I started getting involved in 2012. I saw the world change with the car wash, especially with and after COVID. And it's something that, we can really get behind and continue to grow. As my grandfather's still alive, he really is excited to see what his kids were able to do, and now what we're doing here. And it's all kind of started from him. So he's really happy to see that the values that he installed back in 1966 and onwards is still something that we take pride in.
Especially starting at IBM, like that's a staple here. So
Cool. That's a great story.
Yeah, it is really awesome, and it's just something I'm taking pride in for sure.
As you should.
Yeah,
it's cool.
So it's a little similar. Our grandfather was General Motors after the war. So after the war, he did General Motors, and then he was like, I don't want to do that. I want to live around here. And
because he was just moving place to place, everywhere.
You just always take a promotion.
Right.
General
in
Motors,
order to grow, it was you got to go here. It's okay. Pack up and leave. And eventually, he liked Goshen and didn't want to leave and opened his own dealership.
Yep. And then he got the point. It was Chevy Oldsmobile, and that's from there. It just grew. And my dad and uncle took it from 2 to 9 now, and always looking to grow as well. Obviously, reinvesting in your facilities. You guys reinvest in your facilities.
That is a big point right there. Reinvesting is so important. That's what they did for a very long time.
So important.
We just reinvested in 3 of our locations just last year alone. We literally took out, it's kind of funny. So they're all bolted to the ground. They all run on electricity and motors and things like that. It's awesome. It's really cool to see when you get to see it running, especially testing it. But we just took it all out and we put all new technology in. Literally, I have pictures of our tunnel with nothing in it because we reinvested and we saw the value in it, right? Especially how technology grows so fast, right? A new phone in 3 years, it's something new, right? So it's
crazy.
Same with the car wash world, same with the car world, same with any type of world now. It seems like AI and everything's just continuously moving forward. So it's
you'll probably have robots washing cars.
Yeah, right. It's great. It's great.
Already,
it's great. We do, not that we do. We definitely have value in our employees. We definitely added some new infrastructure in our tunnel, but we love our employees. We got you asked me before. We got about 90 to 100 employees.
Wow.
We could not do without them. Single-handedly, the best part of our company.
That's a lot. It's more than I thought because the car washes, and I'm thinking a bunch automated, but I guess you need a lot of support.
So we have something that people don't really. It's out there. It's on our website. But we have one laundromat, we have one Shell station, and we have 13 car washes. Within the 13, 6 of them have about a full-time staff between 8 and 10 people. Some of them are managed by one guy, and they have a couple guys come and go. But yeah, we also have our office staff. But the cool thing about our
accounting, all that stuff.
Kind of like that. And the cool thing is a lot of our office and managers, when I came into the company, it was really cool to see because we have a really long-term manager that's been with us since the year 2000, right? So I was quite young at that time. So when I was coming in full-time in 2020, I wanted to make sure I showed, and talked to the guys that have been with us for a long time and just tell them, listen, exactly, we're going to continue to grow, build, and do the right thing here. Show them the values that I installed through the same thing that he worked for, and just try to prove and show the guys that have been with us for a long time that there's going to be change. Change is important. Change is super.
It's a necessity.
It's a necessity. If you're fearing change, it's tough. If you fear it and want to like it, try to like it because it is one of the hardest things to do. But at the same time, change in an important way, not change in the wrong way. It can go right.
Yeah.
If you don't change and adapt, you die. We say that all the time here, whether it's with technology. I say it to all the young guys and stuff like that. You can't be scared, especially our managers. We've had some guys here a long time. I'm sure you see it. He's on the desk downstairs. So if you want to talk about changing, and if you're not adapting, you're really just dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you want to continue.
And sometimes, like you said, the guys who've been here for a long time don't want the change, right? They're so accustomed to how they're doing it. And trust me, I don't blame it. If it's not broken, don't fix it. But at the same time, there's always something to change, right?
You make it better, though.
We can make it better. And though I don't mean changing something overnight, right? Like crazy. You're just tweaking things, right? New things, like Unshattered, working with them with charity. It's changing. We would have thought, okay, the green tiles is working just fine. Let's just keep doing the green, this and that, whatever. No,
but you're making a bigger impact.
This is the change that was so important to us and something we promoted, and we try to explain it to our customers and things listen, when you buy this blue towel, it's not something for us. This is something we have flyers, we hand it to them, read all about it. This is what we're doing to the community and what we're trying to help here. So
impact. All right, so let's talk about where you see. So it's you and your brother now, right? Do you have any cousins or any family members involved in it?
You met my brother Ryan. It's just him and I right now. It's funny.
Ryan's younger. Correct?
Yeah, Ryan's younger. I'm the oldest. And then I have a youngest brother, Logan, who it's funny. I was just telling Nikki, I'm going down to Tampa this Saturday.
Oh yeah. We talked about that. So my youngest brother-in-law's in Tampa now.
Yeah. We talked about it. So it's so funny. So to me, it's crazy, right? Because your youngest brother's graduating college. We told him to do his master's down there, so it's something he's looking into, hopefully going to do. So
I was hoping my brothers would have done that.
Yes.
I would have went back to school.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So so that's what we're doing. So no other cousins. We have some older cousins that are involved in something totally different. I have another cousin who is in the city also. But listen, as a family business, like I was cool with anyone coming into we wanted to all work together. My dad and his brothers worked well together. I worked well with my brother. That's really important. You want to keep good. You want to keep family, and when you're working. When you're leisure, you got to make sure you don't bring up work, right?
Yeah.
That's what makes it.
I think that's a good way to put it. I mean, we have the same family dynamic. We have my cousin Blake worked here at one point. Now she lives on. She's actually pretty famous influencer.
Oh, is this the influencer?
Yeah. She's pretty famous influencer. We have my cousin Brian, and then my brother Connor who are involved. Two of my cousins, they're definitely way smarter than us too. One's an engineer, one's an archaeologist.
Yeah, my one cousin's an engineer also.
So their brains work a little better than the Healeys, but it's all good. We all get along pretty well. Do we bicker? Everyone's gonna bicker because everyone's ideas slightly different. But at the end of the day, we understand our vision, what our grandfather gave to us, and how it's important to carry that on, and really grow in our community because. Growing's important.
It's super important you touch that, right? Because I always say that when my dad's still working with us, and I love that. I love having him with us and with our VP Paul. When we go into a room, we might have all different ideas, but by the time we leave that room, we're pretty much aligned, right? And even if I don't fully agree with that whole idea, I know that the decision being made is to better the company, better to push us forward. Because we're not going to intentionally make a bad decision because we don't, we're running a business. We also want to make sure we make the right decision and push us forward. So it's really important you talk about that. And, and I know you touched on the engineer and your family and things like that. It's totally different, right? You got an entrepreneur mindset, you got an engineer mindset, you got an artist mindset, you got all these types of mindsets. But what makes someone like, especially in our position, being a business owner, being an entrepreneur, is you figure out where those people need to be to run a successful business, which is super important. So, that's what my biggest thing I took away. I went to school in Florida. I went to entrepreneurship, and the biggest thing that I always took away from college, especially business school, was that you don't have to do everything. You don't have to be the one to know everything. You have to just know how to work with everybody and put those people in the right position and give them the respect and the courage they need to get the job done, right?
Awesome. So and make those important decisions that, like you said,
the decisions is tough. It's one of those things that people they think it's easy. Decisions are the hardest thing. You got to make split decisions quickly, and that's what can sink or not sink a ship. So, yeah.
So
for
true.
Sure. For sure.
You got people that have been doing something for a long time, using the same systems. You make a little tweak, and next thing you know, it's like they think your decision was wrong that you made. Little do they know, it just takes a little adaptability to get over something, right?
Exactly. And it needs time. Not everything happens overnight.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like I think the people that are really with you and understand that you're doing it for the better of them to make whether the business is better to survive. Because who knows what businesses will be around in 10, technology is advancing so fast. Like we think about it all the time. Like our car dealership's always going to be here. Like it's changing the direct to consumer model.
Think about that all the time for the car wash world. So, someone picked my brain really deep one day, and I was like, wow, like we're really going down this rabbit hole, right? Which was great. I love to think, and I want to continuously think of where things might be, right? But it hurts to think that far ahead. You're like,
but you have to.
Because 10 years ago in 2015, when I was graduating high school, there's no way I was going to predict where we'd be today, right? I can try to predict where I was going to be. And honestly, there's a lot of things that I was able to accomplish in those last 10 years that I set for myself and goals like that. But, you never really know, especially honestly, in 2015, we didn't know what the hell AI was. I mean,
no, it wasn't really a thing.
Now it's a trigger word, AI.
It's like, did we know what that was going to be in 20? I don't know. Like, now thinking about how on Instagram I could talk to like an AI, I'm like, I scroll and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And then now I'm thinking like, okay, now I think like my parents right now, I'm seeing like, I'm getting a little bit older. You're seeing new things. And I'm like, do I want to adapt to that? I got to learn that though, right? So we can continue to push forward. But
those guys, they can't, their jobs can't work without AI now.
Yeah, I know. I love,
my marketing, like you can't, all AI is all driving our results. So we're driving whether the place at. So it's a crazy trigger word. Does it have a long way to go?
Oh yeah.
I think people are still very, very important, and people are still the most important asset you have at any of your company.
Yeah.
So.
And I use AI, like you said, for the tool, right? Sometimes I'm not the best speller. Sometimes my grammar can be a little off. So
don't worry, you have two Healeys here.
I use AI like, hey, help me out with this, right? I'll fill in. I like to be creative. I want to do the work myself.
Give the thought, and then you make it more professional.
Yeah, exactly, and make it more professional. Yep. Give it its touch, its need, right, to just perfect it. Because if it's there and it's a tool, it's silly not to use it. Right?
So the way I tell them to use it is give it the thought, let it make it more professional, and then you have to know how to to guide the AI to
Yeah.
deliver the result you want. If
Yeah.
you don't understand how to
Exactly.
prompt it, you're gonna die. And it's something we talk about all the time. And they're probably better at it than I am that are
Yeah.
using it every day. Like, but it's so important. He uses it all the
I,
time.
I heard a really good line, and it kind of eases my brain a little bit. Somebody that works in that tech entrepreneur world, he says, you won't be replaced by AI. You will be replaced by somebody that knows how to use AI better than you do. And
was that
it was
Chamath?
like,
That's a good
it
point.
could have been
I
Chamath,
think
but
it
it
was
was like
Chamath.
it was a good way to learn, because you're looking
That's-
at all these big companies, they're leveraging AI, and the ones that leverage it the best to do their job better are going to replace the people that either don't use it or don't use it as well as that person.
Yeah.
So it was like
It's crazy.
it's creative destruction. You learn it in economics, right? When one field goes away, there's a new, industry that's built.
Yeah.
You look at taxis. Everybody thought Uber was going to put taxis out of business. Taxis are still there.
Yeah.
Uber's just bigger than taxi now.
Exactly.
So it's like, you're always building, and every time creative destruction was a good lesson to learn, because just when you think something's going away forever, something else is built. To propel you in the direction that,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the media gets. Like, oh my God, we're gonna lose all these jobs. It's gonna create other jobs.
Yeah.
on top of it,
Right.
whether it's for our business or others. But now I just want to turn the tide a little bit, because I know we're talking about change and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But this is another key point of why small business is important in like our local community, and why we have to stick together and support each other. So if you want to talk a little bit about
Yeah.
what small business really means to you, and how it's so important to say we're both small businesses. We want to support each other. We want to support the coffee shop down the street or something local. What does that what does that mean to you?
There's so much, there's so much to talk about with local
know.
business, right? Because like we talked about how many employees you might have. We have 90 employees. We have 90 employees that live in the community.
Right.
We pay.
We're the same way.
We
We have-
pay them. They live in the community. They
They have
support.
families and stuff.
So with that being said, is when you buy support, let's just keep it simple. Let's just talk about us right here, because if you're supporting us, you're supporting 90 employees that work for the community, in the community. They're going to spend money in the community. They're going to continue to
taxes
grow
in the community for the schools.
They have kids that go to school in the community. We're talking about IBM. We have a lot of guys that go to Spack and Kill, young kids that are graduating from Spack and Kill. Their parents work for us. They're pushing their kids through high school and college, but then and with a good community like that, they come back to their community. Right. They continue to grow in this community. Maybe someone else might say, hey, let's start something else. But like I said, it goes to that point. So when you spend in the community, you give back to the community, and then it kind of goes back to giving back to ourselves, right? Your charities, our charities. If you're able to support us, we're able to support people that you might not even thought you could support, right?
Or a family member that's in need, or a friend that's in
family
need.
that's in need. So we work in, I didn't even touch on it, right? We have a small, we have a laundromat, and inside that laundromat, we have a Sparrow's Nest thrift shop. This is something that my mom created, because you'd be surprised. People leave their clothes at the laundromat, and we don't touch them. After a few years, we'll say, okay, they're not coming back. It's been 2 years. They're not coming back for their clothes. So we take those clothes, and it's an honor system, but we throw it in our laundromat in a nice little spot. It's you put cash, you put it in an envelope, and you throw it in our thing. But people that come into our laundromat, right, by coming and supporting us, we're giving back to the people who come into our laundromat also. They're coming in. My mom has this really cool story. She was at the laundromat one time, and right around winter time, Christmas time, and someone came in there, and she found a pair of shoes for her son that he wanted, and they're like $5, right? And they were maybe something kind of expensive that maybe she couldn't afford. And then it kind of just goes back to that whole thing with the community, and showing that we're just going to continue to push things for our community. People who come in and support us, we want to continue to support them. So we're always kind of come up with new ideas to do that also.
And we always say too, like, helping the community and supporting and giving back does more for you than going to spend hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars on marketing.
Yeah.
Giving back, and first off, it feels good as hell.
Oh,
like
it
when
seems
we do
right.
it- yeah.
Yeah.
Like we went to the food bank, and just to see that, granted, we are a small part of the new food bank at Hudson Valley, but going there to see what they built over the time, it was like breathtaking.
Yeah.
That place. It was really like, now they could really feed the Hudson Valley.
And it's cool because you want to do that, right? Like you see, you look, and you're like, okay, like, can we afford this? Can we do this? You're like, we got this. Let's do it. Like, why not do it? Like, these people are in our community. They work in our community, especially on Shattered. She's bringing women into our community. She's housing them in apartments. She doesn't have housing for them, so she has her, I wouldn't call it students, but the people that work for her housed in our local area, and she's bringing them in our local area. She's teaching them skills. They're probably going to stay in the area, right? I talk to a lot of them. They go to our car wash, they go to our laundromat. They're in the area. They're supporting the area also, and it's really cool to see. So that's something that she's doing for our area, and then it kind of just spirals, right? Because without not just us, without the community and us to bring awareness to Unshattered, it maybe wouldn't work, but it is. And she's got her own.
And that's
great stuff.
again right there. Everyone having each other's back locally, and in our areas, that small niche kind of small town feeling. It's close to New York City. It's close to some major cities, but we have that small town feeling where we talked about it. I think I talked about it a couple weeks ago. Is everyone knows each other. And the more you could have another small business's back or support them or promote them, no matter what it is, it goes a long way. But can you elaborate a little more on how important those partnerships are? Whether it's say next to your foam and wash where you bring a lot of that traffic because everyone's coming for a car wash, but all those small businesses are benefiting because they're getting seen. 1,000, 1,200 cars in a day.
Exactly.
They're all benefiting because of the traffic that goes there.
So let's do an example then, right? Because we all probably remember the old Poughkeepsie Motel on Route 9 right across the street from Marshall's. That was once there. I assume maybe you guys don't go up that far on Route 9, but on Route 9 we opened.
Sounds a little sketchy there.
Yeah. So it's not there anymore. It used to be Coyote Grill, and that's where we popped up our car wash.
I think I know.
Yeah, it's near. It's one of the oldest shopping centers in Dutchess County. It's right over in that area. But it used to be the Poughkeepsie Motel. No longer. They tore it to the ground, and they started building up a Smoothie King and everything like that, right? So we took a closed business, Coyote Grill, which is great, and they're double O. These guys are great, and we took that business, we opened a car wash, and they destroyed the motel, and they opened up a bunch of also local businesses. Like, right, all these people, Smoothie King is operated locally also. They're not, even though they're franchises, you got to remember some of these are locally owned by people in our community also. So, if you walk into an establishment, I think I walked into McDonald's one time and it says, hey, this is run by a local community. Oh, no, I think it was the burrito place, Bubba Coos. If you walk in there, it says this establishment is run by someone local in your community. So though you feel like you're shopping franchise, they are locally run, which is great. But at the Poughkeepsie location, you have this whole new traffic circle, this whole new traffic jam now with the car wash, this whole new Smoothie King. You got a Spencer going there too. You got a yoga place. You got all these new things. So this business that's already kind of been driving, you're continuously driving past, you're seeing it, you're pulling in. Our parking lots are literally connected. So if you pull out of our car wash, you can go into the other establishment. I met the Jersey Mike's owner. They're great. They're also local. All of our Jersey Mike's are run by a local family also. So, and it kind of goes back to that. And then, of course, being at our other Poughkeepsie location, we're so close to Healey. We work so close with Healey. I know we talked about it last time. A lot of your guys come over to our convenience store. We sell them lunch. We work with them. We love Quincy. I assume you guys.
Quincy's the man.
I did want to shout out.
We always need to shout out Quincy.
I do want to shout out Quincy because just as long as
his birthday. You know that, right?
Is it?
Oh, yeah. So next month.
We love Quincy. He's so like 2012, right? When I was telling you I was working there. That's when I met him.
Right. Yeah.
So I've known him for over a decade, just in and out. He got really close to my brother because he really helped us out at the Shell. So he worked with, he did Quincy's numbers. He's so funny. We had a good time with Quincy. And I see him honestly every day. He's great. He's great for us. He's a regular, and we love having him come in. But besides this point, you get all your employees that walk over. We work with us with our token notes. When you guys give it all a change, and it when they come to us, they're thinking of Healey. They're thinking about us too, right? Healey gave me this. Now I'm at a car wash. This is really cool. Like, I just got an oil change, and now I'm here. So, and when they have that pass, right, they're seeing you. They're Healey. They remembered that you gave that to them. So they're thinking about the trust that you guys gave them and gave them the oil change and gave them a free car wash. And then now they're coming to us. So it's like two small businesses that are working hand in hand together to try to create a happy customer, because we know that that's really important, and it goes a long way.
I mean, washing a car goes a long way. And also, we're not just trusting any car wash. We obviously, you guys do a great job. It's not like we're just going to a Joe Schmo who's gonna half-ass wash their car. You guys do a phenomenal job. So.
And then we kind of go back to that customer service thing, something we've been implementing, and it kind of goes back to really trying to create a happy customer. Listen, we have a controlled environment. You go to the car wash. We started out of these signs that are exit of our tunnel of our managers. It's really cool. It's cute too. We got our managers with a nice little picture. It's a sign with their face smiling, and they kind of just said, hey, whatever type of experience you had here, we do really appreciate your feedback. If there's anything that we could do to be better off, or if you're just really unhappy with your service, we put a picture of our manager so that they go, that's Alec, right? That guy looks, and it's friendly, it's inviting. Come back around. We don't want you to roll out. Once you roll out that property and you had a bad experience and we couldn't do anything to help, I feel like we failed,
right?
Because they didn't want to come back.
And you want to know what,
and we want to know. We want to know what
whether
to do better.
Good, bad, or
it's
indifferent,
really
it
important. We rely on our customers for feedback, and we talk to all of our customers. So we have a lot of regulars, but the guys who come and go, not as much, and don't. Listen, not everyone wants to say something too. Maybe like, I don't want to say something, or maybe they are upset and they're really angry. They just want to leave. and they tell, we want you to come back. So we have these new signs that are pretty cool to kind of entice you to come back, talk to our managers. We want to learn something from you. And we're also very friendly. So
Right.
Yeah. And we're not going to kill you for saying
no,
something bad.
we listen. We really want to hear from you. We want to hear from our customers. You guys are important. So
That's right.
The feedback is so important for your business.
Yes.
Because if you're not, like, it's so, whether it's good or bad, here we think we're perfect all the time, but those little things that you don't realize that you're doing wrong, you could fix for that next customer so it doesn't happen again. And I think all our managers, I'm sure like yours, they take it upon themselves, the negative review or negative feedback, they get on it themselves and they want to fix it. They want to make it better because the customer at the end of the day is why you're in business.
Yeah. We share all those reviews. So we have a really cool system that like puts all the reviews in one place. So our office manager can pretty much scroll and has every location all in one. So if it's new, it's there, it's up on top, and we share everything with our managers. Usually if it's a 1, 2, or 3 star, even a 4, honestly, we call you. If we can get a hold of you, we call you. We want to make sure we can make that better.
We're the same way.
With the 5-star, we're just saying thank you very much. It's really important to get that. And, it's not easy nowadays. So we really want to make sure, because when people leave reviews, it's so easy to just leave a bad review, right? And you just, never know what you're going to do. But of course, if you can talk to the manager, make their day, or just kind of change the experience around, that's what we're trying to do. And like I said, we're friendly. We have a smile on our face. We want to help you. That's why we're here. That's why we have all of our employees that are well trained, especially in customer service.
That's great.
It's great.
So before we wrap up here, is there anything new coming for Foam Wash? Anything coming down the pipeline that the public should know about?
The biggest thing, and a lot of people always talk about, especially in your world for you, you're not in a daily transactional. You sell cars, which is great, but you don't see the everyday with the. I know you have a phone in your pocket, so you're used to Apple Pay and Tap to Pay and things like that. But of course, every single day we have a customer come through, it's a transaction. So people are getting so used to just bringing their phones around, right? They're like, oh, we need to bring our phones or no wallet, and I'm like, well, we got to figure this out. So last year I took upon myself with our IT guys. So our biggest thing for us, it's not crazy, but we really are trying to adapt to all of our POS systems to just allow Apple Pay, Tap to Pay, just so we can continue to build that easy transaction between our customers.
Making it more efficient for your customers.
Exactly. Because they come in, they only have their phone, and we're like, sometimes you can grab the card off the phone, but we're just trying to make it as easy as possible. They kind of get in and out. It's speed and convenience. We're in a controlled environment. We're washing cars all day. We want to make sure that we can get you in and out as quick as possible, and very happy. And I know we didn't touch on too much of that, but obviously we separated our business between our tunnels and our self-service. They're totally different. One's 24 hours, one's 7:30 to 7, and summer we run to 8. And that's kind of where
that's a long time.
We wash your Heeley guys, right? Your Heeley guys come to our tunnel. We just saw them today. They run through with their token notes. That's where we wash the guys, and that's where the speed and convenience comes into play. So we're trying to. Last year we took 3 car washes out of 6 tunnels, revamped them, took all the equipment out, did all that. We're doing Beacon. We're going to do our Beacon car wash over here. We're going to revamp that, bring up some new technology in there. Fishkill's under remodel right now. So honestly, every year you're going to drive by us a car wash that's getting remodeled, and that's because we go back to the point we reinvest. We constantly reinvest because we want to continuously have the best product possible for our customers, with also a great experience. And we can't do that without adapting.
Yeah, it's your competitive advantage as well, is to be the best around.
So we're always just looking for new things. Like I said, we're trying to go towards more speed and convenience with the Tap and Apple. We have them in some places, but you might find some places that don't. So we're just trying to continuously evolve that and bring it to possible. I know I mentioned before, less quarters, the better. We do love the quarters, but they're heavy. If you talk to anybody that has worked in quarters, like maybe an arcade or something like that, they will tell you it's a pain. It's a pain.
I can only imagine.
Yeah,
I didn't realize you still had the quarters.
Yeah, so we still have some quarters in most places. The tunnels that we were talking about do not, but the self-service, and it kind of goes back to that whole point too. Why do we still have quarters? Well, because this convenience still. People have quarters in their cars. It's quarters and change are still quite there, especially coming from a car wash guy. They're still there, right? People have them in their car. They still want to use them. They don't. Not everyone has, they do have credit cards, but not everybody wants to use it. Some people are still cash only, and that's great. So we have to make sure we adapt to everybody.
You love using your phone, right?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as he said updating his what is it?
Yeah.
POS
Yeah, POS.
system.
Yeah.
So when I worked in service, I was a service writer, and I used to always bring up to Jay, I'm like, I just don't think the experience of checking a customer out is easy, with our credit card terminals. And one of the things I used to always bring up, I was like, I would love a tap to pay or just a credit card tap. And you just made me.
Yeah, the legacy tech with auto sometimes like lags, and like we're ahead of it. It's just we are getting better with that technology
Yeah.
as well. We try to obviously have state-of-the-art facilities and have the best customer experience because you have to. You have to have the best.
And we're building like that too. This Healey dealership, this Hyundai dealership is absolutely gorgeous. And, things like that is like as we continuously grow, I love that, we could build like this because it seems like a lot of the 2010s, 2020s, things were like gray and dark and silly. I don't know. Like we're just, you come to buy our car wash, we literally have red, white, and blue, literally like
America, baby.
Yeah.
We pop it, we love it. We're big red and blue too.
It's your branding,
and we're trying to
too.
pop it. We have these beautiful sides that we put on our building they pop, and we want to be different. We want to also catch your eye from the road, and we're just always trying to do something new, which is really cool.
You guys have done a phenomenal job branding because I don't think there's one person in this area that doesn't know what Foam and Wash car wash is. So,
That's right.
Yeah,
great job.
And I
with that.
appreciate it because a lot of the things that I did just come in and was trying to build the marketing and try to continuously push it, build signs. People don't watch this. People don't look at signs. I assume you guys know that when they pull in. Where's the service room? Where's this?
No.
It's right on the bill. It's pretty large right there. Oh, I didn't see that.
Right,
So
right.
we do our best with all that. We got
Yeah.
some billboards now, which are cool. I love that we're doing billboards because it's such old school marketing. But again, that's why we love radio and billboards because we're in their car, and you're driving by, you're thinking about us in your dirty car with some bird poop on it or maybe some pollen, and you're thinking,
Also, you can get a car wash. It's right away. You could do it.
Yeah.
It's harder with car dealers because it's a big purchase. So
Yeah.
car wash, like, oh, I see it. There's a car wash. Let me go get it real quick because it's really efficient.
Yeah, I
It's
assume
quick.
you have to get. You're right. It's rare that someone comes in and wants to just buy right on the spot, right? It's like they come in, they look one time, and then they bring maybe their husband or wife, and they look at it again, and
It's a
they go
30,
back.
60, 90-day process.
Yeah.
They're doing their homework online. They're watching YouTube, all that stuff. But so,
Yeah.
Dill, you have any more questions for Evan?
No, I think that was great.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed
You do
that
have
podcast.
you do have the radio voice.
No,
So
it was
where
really
where,
good, Evan.
Yeah.
Great job.
And,
Appreciate it.
And I'm sure your dad and family are super happy you're part of it. I mean, there's nothing better than work with family. Yeah, there's headaches, but it's still a lot of fun. So
The
where
harder the topic, the more transparent with
Exactly.
family.
yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, it's a battle, but it's a good battle because you all care about the brand and care about
Exactly.
the legacy of it. Like at the point, my dad's in the legacy phase of his life. He wants it to live forever.
Exactly.
He wants
And that's-
his grandkids to.
And that's what I look at, right? It's like I look at the 90 employees, 100 employees, and I'm like, we're doing it for them. We're doing it for them. Like literally, like we got to make sure that this thing continuously grows, continuously builds because we got people that rely on us, and everything we do. So we just want to continue to grow it and support and help.
And my dad's like so proud. Every time he hears, like, he'll ask our HR about like our employee number. He's like, 650. He's like, it's one of his most proud numbers out there. It's
it
like
is.
how many employees, how many families you're
all
helping
local.
feed and supporting. They're all from like, well, our one store is like a little the PA area, Delaware County, all the way to like
North Jersey.
North Jersey. So we have a big demographic, but
Kingston. to
it's
all those-
super important to support them. So where can people learn more about Foam and Wash? Instagram or something?
Yeah, so we're really going crazy on our Instagram and Facebook. We have some cool videos from May that are about to come out. We have some fun with them. We work with Foamy and a bunch of classic videos. So if you find us on our Instagram,
What's the handle?
just Foam and Wash.
Foam and
Literally
Wash?
just foam spelt out and wash. And then of course you can go to our website at foamandwash.com. Simple as that. We have our events page. We have a fundraiser page. That's actually something really cool.
And
that
Nikki
we
will
started
share
doing.
all that stuff too.
Yeah, we're doing something really cool right now that, talk about simplicity, right? We have a fundraiser page. If you're a local high school kid, you want to fundraise to go to, the States or whatever. We have a QR code. We literally supply you with everything you need. We literally give you like banners,
cool
things,
as hell.
QR codes. Instead of knocking on your neighbor's door or getting physical cash and selling token notes and you're like shoving it in your pocket.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, can you scan this QR code? Maybe put it on the back of your shirt and go to school with it or something like that. You scan, it's a QR code. It's like a GoFundMe. It's not a GoFundMe, but it acts like that, right? You scan the QR code, it tracks how much you're making, so then it goes up, and then you take 50% home from yourself. So it's pretty cool. So it's super virtual. You can post it on your Instagram. You can put a shirt, and you don't have to knock and ask. It can get awkward for kids, especially. Hey, can you, buy
That's
a
a
car
cool
wash?
way to get the community involved because
So we get the
everyone's
community
life
involved.
usually revolves around kids.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So we like to say it's for the high school kids, but for any type of thing, any type of business, any type of fundraiser, you're selling car washes very easily, very virtual. You literally have a QR code, you buy it through the QR code, and then you get a QR code, and then you come to our car wash, you scan the QR code, so there's no cash, there's no nothing. You scan the QR code with us, and you're on your way. So we're doing that. That's on our website also, so you can find out about where we're going to be for events and things like that on our
That's
website.
awesome.
And more
That's
information
great.
about our
That's great stuff.
car wash.
It's really great.
Well, Evan, I appreciate the time. Is there anything else you want to ask us, or that was good. That was really good.
Yeah, it's up to you. I know we've been rocking and rolling for a little while, but no, not really. I really appreciate you guys having me in. It's awesome to be
Hey,
here
at the end of the
today.
day, our goal about this podcast is to provide community outreach,
Yeah.
get local businesses involved. It's not about selling cars, but
Yeah,
it's about
not at
telling
all.
about our history and really getting noticed. So we're trying to get one small little coffee shop on here to really support her. She's a great business entrepreneur. We're working really hard. We're gonna keep shouting out until she gets on it.
Oh yeah,
But it means
get on it.
it means the world, like to the other businesses, just to get outreach. I mean, it's free, it's fun.
No, yeah. For this whole thing, when you guys reached out to me, I was like, it's like a no-brainer. I was
Yeah.
like, sign me up. I love this type of stuff, and like I said, and I'm not here to sell anything either. I just want to talk about what we do and what we give back to, and how we can help you. Like, listen, maybe someone who has a non-for-profit that is really small that maybe we wouldn't even hear about sees this podcast, or maybe does, or maybe a bigger one, and they reach out to us and they want to work with us. Like, that's pretty cool. So,
That's-
like, you know,
I think it's so important.
Yeah.
This podcast really humanizes us local business owners, get stories out there. It's the humanizing of the podcast that I think goes really far with people.
Yeah.
yeah, they want to put a face to a brand, Ray, and things like that. And like I said, there's nothing more important than giving back to your local community. I touched on it before. You guys.
That's why
see it
you're
all
in
the
business.
time.
The community keeps the
Yeah,
business open.
Yeah,
but
community keeps business
you got to
open.
give it back.
And like you said, we couldn't do it without. We could not literally be here today without the community. So why not continue to give back to the community?
Well said.
Well said.
Well, we
Awesome.
appreciate it, Evan.
Yeah,
Thank you, man.
guys.
We'll do it again for sure.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank
That's
you.
going to be the title of it.
Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, hit that subscribe button, and follow us at Healey Brothers on all social platforms.